Hello, welcome to another video from the conscientious biologist, Ben Gallagher. This is the second one in the Ecology series, and it really does follow on immediately from Ecology 1, which was looking at food chains and the start of feeding relationships. This is about one specific feeding relationship, which is the predator-prey relationship. But please make sure you've watched Ecology 1 before you watch this one. It's suitable for GCSE level, and if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Thanks. So in that Ecology 1 video, we've already covered some of the key terms. We looked at the main words for the trophic level. So trophic level in itself is a key term. And the trophic level is where the organism sits on the feeding levels, on the food chains. But we looked at producers. Producers, generally speaking, are plants. They do photosynthesis to take energy from the sun, lock it up in a molecule of glucose, and that glucose is the basic food and source of energy for everything else on the planet. Now, of course, plants can also use that glucose to make amino acids and lipids, which are the two other main food molecules. So plants really are producing everything for an ecosystem. So plants are producers, so that was a key term. We also had primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers as other keywords. But let's add a few more now that you ought to be familiar with. These are things that you will have covered at primary school. So carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores. Now you ought to know what these are. Carnivores eat only meat, so they prey on other animals. Herbivores eat only plants, and omnivores eat both animals and plants. So most humans are omnivorous. If you're vegetarian or vegan and you only eat plant-based material, then you're a herbivore technically. But carnivores eat animals, herbivores eat plants, and omnivores eat all of it. But there's a really key point here that I just want to bring up that lots of people don't really ever think of, that food is basically just the cells of other organisms. Almost everything that every organism on Earth eats is just cellular material. There's only a few exceptions to that, and really most of the exceptions come from humans, where we've processed cells to get certain things out of them. So anything we eat that's just sugar based, sugar isn't really just cells, but it came from cells. But the only exception that affects multiple different species is milk. So mammals produce milk with which they feed their young. Milk is a secretion. We as humans make other things from milk, like cheese and cream and butter and things like that. But milk is the basis for those foods, and milk is a secretion. Everything else basically is just cells. If you're eating meat, whether that's sausages or burgers or an actual piece of beef or something, that's animal cells. If you're eating lettuce or carrots or potatoes, those are plant cells. And the reason why we eat so many cells is because we're made of cells. So if we eat cells, we know that the nutrients we're getting from those cells will match what we need to rebuild into our own. So really, when we look back at those words, carnivores are eating animal cells and getting all the nutrients they require from animal cells. Herbivores are getting them from plant cells, omnivores are getting them from a variety of cells. But that's really all that means. Now let's throw on the two keywords from this video, the predator-prey relationship. So let's put predators up there first, and let's link this up to some of the stuff we talked about in the last video. So firstly, predators, usually carnivores. So predators can sometimes be omnivores. They might sometimes eat some plant material, but predators are usually carnivores. They only eat meat. They must be secondary consumers or higher. If they were a primary consumer, that means they're eating producers, which means straight away they're eating plants, so they must be omnivore as well. So they must be secondary or higher, so tertiary. And predators are animals that hunt and kill their food. So you do get some organisms that eat animals, but they might just eat ones that they find. So those would be scavengers. Predators specifically are hunters of other animals. Here's a few examples of those. So above my head here, we've got a bear, we've got a wolf, and we've got a lion. Those are obvious ones that you will have heard of. But of course, there's loads of predators. You get, a lot of insect species are predators. They will hunt and kill other smaller insects. But those are some of the main obvious ones above me. Let's talk about prey now. So prey are usually herbivores. Again, they don't have to be. Some prey animals are omnivores, and sometimes carnivores can be the prey for other things. Just because you've got a great white shark, which is a carnivore and a fierce predator, that great white shark might still get attacked and eaten by another bigger great white shark or an orca, a killer whale. Okay, so just because it's a carnivorous predator doesn't mean it can't also be the prey of an even bigger carnivorous predator. But prey are usually herbivores. They're generally primary consumers, as all herbivores are, but they don't have to be. And a prey is an animal that gets eaten by another animal. That's really the last lines on both definitions are the key things. Predators are animals that hunt and kill other animals. Prey are animals that get eaten by other animals. And a few obvious examples popping up to my side here: a zebra, antelope, a rabbit. Those are the ones that we generally think of as the animals that get hunted, killed, and eaten by other animals. Okay, this is the really important bit for this video. This is actually looking graphically at the predator-prey relationship and how the population of one impacts the population of the other and how it moves along in cycles. So what I've done, I've put it as a graph here, and you'll see there's a key above me there. The prey I've put in blue, so you've got a blue dot on the side axis there. Predators are in red, so you've got a red dot over there. Okay. Now also what I'm doing on this graph, I'm going to mark out on the bottom axis points A, B, C, D, E and F, and then I'll open up the rest of the graph. We're going to reveal the graph in those little increments there and discuss what's going on at each one. So let's start with A. Let's look at the actual axis over there and look at the basics of what's happening. Well, the obvious thing should be that the number of predators is number of prey animals is much higher than the number of predators. Now think back to Ecology 1, where you looked at the pyramids of number and pyramids of biomass. The quantity of prey should always be much higher because of the energy losses as you move through a food chain. So if you've got a load of prey animals, remember those prey animals will be burning up lots of their energy respiring. Then the predator won't eat all of that prey animal. Plus a lot of that prey animal will be eaten but will go straight through the digestive system and be excreted out the other end. So there needs to be a lot more prey than predators. So that's why we start our graphs there. Now, if you look at the predators, you'll see that I've just drawn it just starting to increase very slightly. So let's reveal the next piece of the graph. You'll see that the predators going up causes a decrease in the prey animals. That's because if you've got more predators around, more of them hunting and killing the prey, then the number of prey animals will obviously go down. But look at what's happening at B. That decrease in prey has started to make the predators level off because now suddenly the prey isn't there. There's not as much of it around. So the number of predators will start to stabilize and level off. Now, if I reveal the next bit, because the population of the prey animals has really gone down now, it's really dipped down, there's now not enough food for the predators that are there. So the predators are going to start dying off. Some of them will starve to death. And the predator number, if you look, the predator number starts to go down. But because there's now less predators, think about what's going to happen to the prey. Should be pretty obvious that the prey numbers are going to start to recover. There's far fewer predators around to eat them, so their numbers can increase. They're not being hunted. It's safer for those animals to be there. So they can breed, they can reproduce, they can increase in numbers. So the prey numbers will start to go up. But as prey numbers start to go up, suddenly the predators, there's more food for the predators to eat. So the predator numbers can start to recover. But as predators start to go up, the prey will go down because there's more predators. And of course, as the prey numbers go down, the predator numbers go down again. And we get this pattern that exactly mirrors each other, but just slightly offset. Okay, so the prey going down will, after a little while, cause the predators to go down. And the predators going down, after a little while, will cause the prey to go up. And the predators go down and the prey go up and so on. So you get this offset pattern. But that graph is exactly representing the predator-prey relationship, where they have this very, very subtle, very delicate balance between them. And suddenly if something happened that made the predators really increase, the prey would drop right down. And if the prey dropped right down, there weren't any to eat, the predator population would crash, allowing that one to recover. Recovery of that one provides food for this one, so they go up, which means they're now being eaten, so they'll go down. And you get this constant up and down mechanism, which is what's shown in the graph. Now, hopefully that's very clear and logical. And when you're looking at a graph, you can go, yeah, okay, I get that. That makes sense. No problem. Difficulty with doing well in exams is being able to explain yourself properly, though, and get the information across in an answer. So what I'll do, I'll quickly run through that again, but just in words, so you've got something that you could use in the exams. So essentially what we're saying is that if predator numbers go up, there'll be more of them hunting and killing the prey animals. This means the number of prey animals will decrease because they're being eaten. But with less prey animals to eat, some of the predators will starve and their numbers will decrease. With less predators, prey numbers can increase as their environment is safer. The predators aren't there hunting and killing them, so the numbers can recover. But as the prey animals increase, there's more food for predators. This allows predator numbers to increase again, which, if you look, takes us back to where we started. So if the predator numbers increase, predator numbers go up, there will be more of them hunting and killing the prey animals. So it's this constant cycle, and that's why the graphs mirrored each other and just went back and forth. Okay, so what we're saying is the population of predators and prey are dependent on each other. As one goes up, the other one goes down. As that goes down, that goes up, and so on and so on. However, that's really, really simplistic, because it should be obvious to you that one predator isn't just going to kill, hunt and feed on just one type of prey animal. Okay, like in the picture above me, that cheetah is chasing a gazelle. Do cheetahs only eat gazelles? No, they eat lots of different prey. So maybe if the gazelle numbers went down, the cheetahs would be okay because they'd just eat something else. So it's not as simple as we've made out, because one predator might eat prey from multiple species, but also one prey animal may be predated on by multiple other predators. So there's lots of variation here. Okay, so this is very simplistic how we've put it, and it's because the population of any organism is dependent on a great many factors. That's where we're going to go in Ecology 3. Take a quick screenshot of this if you want. If you didn't take a screenshot of the graph, go back and take a screenshot of that as well, because those two together, the graph, the full graph once it was fully revealed, and this explanation covers the predator-prey relationship. Okay, so carrying directly on from that then, I want you to go to the Ecology 3 Food Webs and Interdependence presentation. That'll just develop this concept a little bit further. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It really does help me out, and like this video if you've enjoyed it. Thank you.